we have our winners finals. Reminder, winners finals is a best of 5. So we have KingOwlexander, this first top cut for both trainers. This is his 3rd tournament. We have the Frostlass, the Superior, and then Lantern, a regular Gligar, Medicham, and Lickitung. Love that team composition from KingOwlexander.
Yeah, very powerful team composition. I still think the meta is getting settled, but I do think KingOwlexander is kind of drawing all the best aspects of the top usage charts. SJAMESP, as we pointed out a few times already this weekend, first tournament appearance in the Championship Series. He's got Swampert, Umbreon, Frostlass, Shadow Gligar, as well as Medicham and Lickitung. Reminder that Shadow Gligar is going to hit just a little bit harder than its non-Shadow counterpart, which could help SJAMESP to kind of close the gap in some of these closer matchups.
Yes, and I gotta say it again. It's a best of 5. We are now in marathons. It is a different mindset that you go into these battles when you know how many are ahead of you. Who will remain on top? KingOwlexander, SJAMESP. We have a Lantern and a Lickitung.
Generally a pretty neutral lead. I would get the slight edge to SJAMESP as he's able to land these super effective power whips, but this is also Water Gun Lantern as well, so they're going to pace at relatively the same rate. However, these water guns will add up a lot quicker. Making the counter swap into Medicham doesn't get a catch, and we see the counter swap into Frostlass.
I love hearing Frostlass's cry as it bursts onto the battlefield, and Frostlass deciding I can tank any move that Medicham throws at me. I don't need to shield this one right away. No defense drop, so Frostlass comfortably being able to build up a lot of energy before going for that decisive charge move. Will KingOwlexander protect the Medicham? Yes, that Shadow Ball would be devastating. Chooses to protect it, is at the Ice Punch. SJAMESP making a decision. It would be tough to watch all of that energy go down the drain, so decides to keep the Frostlass around to be able to take one more shot at knocking out the Medicham. Throws a couple extra Powder Snows, allowing the Frostlass to get really low in health. So once the next Pokemon comes in, it won't be able to garner a lot of energy off Frostlass.
No, I mean, that was beautifully said, right? Because the Lantern does have Water Gun, and he brings in the Superior actually to get a 1 Vine Whip lead. Now, SJAMES is thinking about the first Pokemon he saw. It was a Water Gun Lantern. He has energy on Lickitung. He's going to go ahead and bring in the Umbreon here. Umbreon, I think I would give the slight edge in this matchup as it draws on. However, Frenzy Plant is going to hit really hard from the Superior, so SJAMES needs to be careful.
He does. Also, again, Umbreon has that 3-turn fast move of Snarl. It's a little slower. It gives KingOwlexander a few more opportunities to perhaps make a catch, make a swap. It's a little harder to do when your turn, you're in a longer turn duration.
Yeah, exactly right. Foul Play does connect into the Superior. We're going to see another Foul Play, but first, the Frenzy Plant from the Superior. No Protection here from SJAMES. What this tells us is that he is confident his Umbreon can withstand all these Vine Whips. Actually going to make a combo play out into Lickitung and gather some more energy and then throw the Body Slam. This is not quite enough though, DeFi. I think he's going to have to use a Protect Shield if he wants to preserve Lickitung's HP.
Let's see that, yeah, the Superior comfortably can handle that Body Slam, but SJAMESP already at a second Body Slam. Does KingOwlexander want to be able to throw this Frenzy Plant? Yes. Decides this energy is worth it to shield and be able to throw. I'm either going to get the Lickitung really down in health, or I'm going to be able to pull this last shield away.
Well, think about what this means for the back line. KingOwlexander gave up his final protection, which means the Power Whips are going to come through. You cannot deny them. Actually going for the charge attack priority on a 1-turn fast attack after 3 switches. KingOwlexander is seeing with X-ray vision. He knows where this Lickitung's energy is at.
Yeah, so knows this is a Power Whip coming through from the Lickitung. This is going to do a lot of super effective damage. However, it's not enough to even put Lantern down into the red. Tries to make maybe a catch, but actually ends up going for the combo play of the foul play from the Umbreon onto the Lantern.
Oh.
Lantern sticks around and actually throwing a couple water guns before throwing the Surf.
Yeah.
Actually an undercharge.
Look at the patience here from from King Alexander, getting the double water guns, like you said, allowing the Snarl down and trying to gather some more energy on his Superior. This is his last Pokemon, his last hope. Umbreon gets KO'd, Lickitung comes out. These are the final 2 Pokemon on the field. Now it's a race. Aerial Ace versus Body Slam, and the Superior gets to it, clutching up this game number 1 of the best of 5 series.
I think that undercharge is something we need to talk about a little.
Oh no, it doesn't!
Stays on. Oh my goodness.
Oh, a last gasp, right? Like if you're watching a scary movie and the hand reaches up from the ground to grab your ankle, almost doesn't get the win there. King Alexander and S. James can't believe it.
Yep, I think there are 2 moments in that battle that are very good and worth rewatching. My goodness, that undercharge was huge. Knowing that he needed an extra Vine Whip of energy on the Umbreon to be able to get to that next move, to be able to knock out the Lickitung. Maybe what King Alexander wasn't expecting was for the Aerial Ace to not quite be enough, and you needed 1 additional Vine Whip. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think King Alexander is just experiencing life in 0.5 speed. He can count the 1-turn fast stacks. He can find the charge attack priority with his Lantern and Lickitung. And now we even see that 1 Vine Whip being critical. S. James thinks the game is over. He looks down at his phone. Does he miss a tap? Is he a little bit slow here? Is he going to look for it? Oh, he gets the lick and he misses the body slam there because the Vine Whip damage does apply.
My goodness, that was so close. You talk about being on the razor's edge.
Yeah.
That was so close. I don't think King Alexander is going to overestimate those Aerial Aces ever again.
Right? My goodness, that was absolutely insane. But that's only game 1 of this best of 5, and you kind of alluded to this going into the series, Defai, but a best of 5 is so different than a best of 3. Typically, King Alexander would only need to win 1 more game. He's got to win 2 more games against S. James, and I really think S. James has found ways in the past to grind matchups out and create win conditions. Heading right into game number 2, though, this is a stellar lead for King Alexander. He's got his Frostlass versus Medicham.
Frostlass loves seeing Medicham out in the lead. We see the swap into the Umbreon. Umbreon very comfortable in this matchup. We see King Alexander being patient, saying, if I'm going to swap out, I'm going to wait. I know Umbreon's not going to get to a move right away. I can bank up a little bit of energy first before bringing in his own Medicham. Medicham having a dominant lead in this matchup. However, King Alexander's is running that Psychic, so the Dynamic Punch would make this a very clean and away victory. Here, the Umbreon can get to quite a few foul plays. Medicham still tends to come out on top in these matchups, but it takes a lot of the Medicham's health to do it.
No, you're exactly right. I could see a situation where King Alexander is forced to give up a Protect Shield against this Umbreon in a matchup that should be dominant for the Medicham. Those foul plays do pace out really quickly. Ice Punch will connect here. I expect S. James to throw 1 more Snarl and then try to attempt for maybe a double foul play here. You're going to take 2 counters every time you Snarl. That's just the nature of a 3-turn Snarl versus 2-turn counter. He's trying to budget his HP and get to 1 more charge attack.
Yes, this is a very tight matchup. It's going to depend on a lot of HP. Bringing in the Frostlass, trying to get a little bit of extra, but here is the Lantern. Lantern is not afraid of the fast moves coming from the Frostlass, just has to watch out for the Shadow Balls. Going for the Surf is going to be second. Frostlass, very few Pokemon can outcharge move priority of Frostlass. It has an incredibly high attack stat, and you can see it there with how much damage the Shadow Ball did.
But again, King Alexander, I mean, he's just finding all these charge attack priorities at will. Very impressive to watch him work. That Surf is going to hurt that Frostlass quite a bit. Looking for another Shadow Ball. S. James able to clutch it up. This might steal away a Protect Shield, but if you recall, I do think King Alexander knows that Medicham is the 3rd Pokemon for S. James.
Yes, so knowing the Medicham is in the back, or predicting the Medicham is in the back, Frostlass can get lots of energy. So Frostlass now has 2 shields. We've talked about it before. Frostlass with shields and energy. There is very little that you can do against it. I think S. James already looking a little frustrated because that Shadow Ball is going to come through. Frostlass looking to Powder Snow down. I think S. James here is conceding the match, recognizing the Umbreon. There's not enough the Umbreon can do. There's just not enough gas in the tank, especially with 2 shields. King Alexander shaking it off, thinking, all right, I've got 2, but it is not over yet. King Alexander needs a third win to lock this up and punch his way into the grand finals.
Yeah, we saw SJAMESP kind of dismissive of that final moment of that, the final moments of that game 2. The reason is he's just giving his energy to game 3, right? He's making notes, he's thinking about what to do next. He needs to win 3 games in a row to reverse sweep this series. And we see no Protect Shield here. SJAMES really bending the knee to King Alexander, says, you're so far ahead in this matchup. There's so many things that need to go right for me to win that against an elite trainer like yourself, it's just not going to happen. So I definitely think kind of closing this matchup out, allowing it to kind of tick down and put his energy towards something he actually has control of, which is game 3.
Yes, speaking of control, King Alexander, complete control of that second game. Just took control early and did not let it go, especially from the get-go, putting Frostlass in the lead. Typically, you might see it in the back or on the swap, so having it in the lead there to counter the Medicham, just a really dominant opener, and then just not giving SJAMES an inch. Let's see if we can change it up here. It's a lick-a-tongue mirror, Speedy.
It's a lick-a-tongue mirror, right back where you've been a few other times in the stream. But that being said, this could be a decisive game 3. King Alexander needs this victory in order to move into the grand finals. Meanwhile, SJAMES needs to start to take steps to come back in this series. He needs to win 3 games straight. There is no more room for errors.
Not at all. So lick-a-tongue mirror, we've talked about it. We've seen it play out a couple times on this stream. We are not seeing any fast move damage. We're actually going to see a swap. King Alexander sacrificing switch advantage to perhaps chip away at this lick-a-tongue, maybe recognizing that this lick-a-tongue's bulk is a bit dangerous.
We have seen SJAMES lean on his Frostlass quite a bit. I'm curious why we haven't seen the switch out quite yet. SJAMES might be kind of predicting something in the back, but after seeing Lantern in game 2, I definitely think that should be floating around in his head as well, top of mind. Here we see the Psychic from the Medicham. I would not be shocked. Actually, I was going to say Protect Shield would probably come up here, but no. SJAMES lets it through.
Yeah, so the Psychic is going to come through. Will we see another defense drop? No, but it's not going to take very many counters to get the lick-a-tongue down and out. So SJAMES throwing the body slam before that can happen, clearing the Medicham off the field. But now this is a couple fast moves worth of energy that either the lick-a-tongue or the Lantern can come in for. We can see SJAMES reaching for the Umbreon, so that doesn't happen.
So the thing is, right, if you want to use Umbreon to counter the lick-a-tongue, you would just let lick-a-tongue faint. But now you've got Lantern on the field versus the Umbreon. No switch is going to be available for a long time for SJAMES, so he builds in the double foul plays in case there's a switch out. If you are King Alexander, you're in a pretty good position, but SJAMES needs to do something creative here. He's got Frostlass in the back, and as far as I can see it, there aren't many places for it to go.
No, that fast move damage from lick-a-tongue just eats away at Frostlass. Frostlass melts under that fast move pressure of the lick-a-tongue. So it is going to be a challenge for SJAMES to work his way through this. Umbreon, I agree. Umbreon's really looking for that lick-a-tongue on the other side. So I was surprised to see maybe just thinking that doesn't want to give whatever Pokemon, doesn't want to give them free fast move, doesn't want to give them free energy. But here, I think its switch advantage was more important.
If I could guess, I think SJAMES is calling either Medicham, Superior, or Gligar in the back. He says it's probably going to be one of those 3 Pokemon, but unfortunately, it was the Lantern. So this is a really tough position for him to be in. As these 2 Pokemon kind of duke it out, our switch timers have now expired, giving SJAMES the chance to switch into his Lick-a-Tongue and absorb a charge attack if he decides to. But it looks pretty tough at this point in the matchup. Switching into the Lick-a-Tongue, getting the body slam off. I don't think this is quite enough. SJAMES doesn't either. He lets it through.
Yeah, so saving you gotta save that shield for Frostlass. Frostlass without a shield is tough. So Frostlass getting that, trying to get a little bit of an energy advantage. But look, you can already see the ice on Frostlass melting away. The fast move pressure is so tough. SJAMES being deciding not to shield here, letting that power whip through, that is crucial. Lick-a-Tongue really going to be looking to just apply a lot of fast move pressure here. King Alexander throwing the body slam onto the Frostlass, peeling that last shield away. Frostlass at double avalanche now. It's going to go first. However, King Alexander has a shield left. So next, I think that was charge move priority. I think the body slam is going to come through.
SJAMES needed... Oh! Oh, he needed that to not be charge attack priority, but it was. KingOwlexander again, X-ray vision, finding these charge attack priorities, reaching them, getting the knockout. Lickitung is poised to sweep here. Umbreon doesn't have the energy. This Elixir resisted. Going for the foul play. Does reach to the foul play, but I don't think this is quite enough to knock out. This Lickitung is just too much. I think it's going to just span all the way through these 3 Pokemon in the back.
Yeah, and the Lickitung also, SJP's Lickitung is just too low on energy, too low on health. And with a 3-0 sweep of the winners finals, KingOwlexander here will move on to the grand finals.
Yeah, KingOwlexander, a commanding sweep of S. James with a 3-0 victory in this series. A little bit of a delayed sportsmanship there, but we got it. We got it done. That was a very, very impressive set by both trainers.